Stay tuned to another episode of Talk is Cheap. Is the sun a Stargate or is it not? A bunch of the ancient civilizations thought it was. Will you be the next? Stay tuned to another episode. Welcome to another episode of Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk and talk is cheap. I'm your host, Sharid Hall out of Ohio, and with me is Dan Hohlfeld and Pete Halbleib.
Yo. How's it going from across Lake Michigan? I guess we're kind of angled there.
It's going good. The weather's warming up and everything, and last time I talked to you, there was a whole bunch of snow on the ground. How's the weather out there?
It's actually pouring rain right now, and you can hear the tin on the roof. It's just, I'm surprised if the audience won't be able to hear it, but
yeah, and it's funny you just mentioned that, and it quieted it down a little bit.
It did, didn't it?
So, well, that's good. That's good.
Perfect. Yeah, we're in some severe weather conditions right now in the studio.
And I'm ready for summer. I want to get the motorcycle out. It's about that time. I'm getting the itch, but the weather just doesn't want to get there yet.
Yeah, I hear you. Time to play some basketball once that sun comes out. Morning and night basketball. That's how I stay in shape.
There you go.
Right on.
But I do believe we have a clip from the phone calls as well. So,
we
Dan,
do.
if you want to go ahead and take that over, and we'll listen to some phone calls.
Yeah, so if you want to call in, the number is 256-510-5234. That's 256-510-K2D4. Leave a message, say hi, complain. If you don't want your question on air, just say so, but I won't guarantee that I'm going to play every message. Keep it to 1 minute or less. I know we've kind of been struggling with this, folks, but short and sweet is the way to go. All standard rates apply, so it will be long distance, but one of the audience members came up with a good idea. Why not have a Google Voice number, and then you can call the line and don't have to worry about long distance if you're overseas. So, perfect.
You know, we have some pretty smart viewers out there, don't we?
We do.
You know, dare I say their intellect might be greater than mine.
So, all right, we got a message here he goes by the name Jay from Alabama.
Hey guys, this is Jay from Alabama, a loyal subscriber to your YouTube channel, which I find to be extraordinary. Guys, firstly, let's just address the fact that John Edmonds claims to have killed 18, now I believe 19, of these ETs. But yet, apparently, he possesses the information. If they're not decapitated, they completely disappear. Now, this has been going on for over 2 decades. Do I need to further state obvious comments here? Where in the hell are the bodies, and why are they not decapitated at least one? Now, he alludes to having a great deal of evidence. None of it is empirical. None of it is able to be quantified. None of it is metaphysically, psychologically, or through any social or natural science able to be studied or examined conclusively. It cannot be researched through any method known to science because it simply does not exist. John Edmonds is delusional.
So yes, the Stardust Ranch episode we did. So he's saying that he's basically a fraud. So what did you think on that episode, Pete? Did you?
Well, I would be remiss to say, if I didn't say, rather, that there was the skeptic in me was kind of perked up a little bit and was. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Although,
absolutely,
I will say to this, and addressing the decapitation versus disappearing stuff, there's been a lot of talk of aliens being able to harness the different energies, vibrations to go between dimensions, and that a lot of alien craft, and I'm gonna kind of like project this onto alien bodies, that unless they're destroyed in a certain way, they still have the technology then that if they get damaged or whatever, it disappears from our dimension and returns to theirs. And maybe that's what's going on.
I just don't like that. I want that evidence. And then there was that thing with John Edmonds where he said it was clear blood, and then Dusty showed that it was red. So there's just a lot of that case in itself is just kind of...
It is. It's fishy. And when we we went into this whole project years ago. I'll say project or interest or whatever, or trying to disseminate truth, knowing full well that we were going to come across crazy stuff that was hoax, that wasn't real. All of it's very hard to believe, especially if you don't spend time looking at this stuff. I appreciate that call though, because it shows that people that are viewing the show are approaching it from a critical angle. Excellent points. I forget, what was the gentleman's name?
He goes by Jay.
Jay from Alabama. Excellent point, man. I can see why you'd think you think the way you do. But it's a big old goofy world out there, man, and there's stuff we don't understand yet. So I can't explain it.
Well, see, yeah, and that's another thing. Regardless if it's real or fake, the fact that we have so many people that are now opening their mind, being open-minded to the possibility or to think critically, thinking on their own, you know what I mean, is a big step for us, because in school we're trained to memorize, you know what I mean? And we're not taught to think on our own. And the fact that there's people out there that are saying, yeah, this is real, this is fake, or there's something to it, this just doesn't show it. You know what I mean? Proves that we have evolved as a species.
Right. Yeah. And that's great, because you need to have an open mind. And if you critically evaluate something and think it's BS, then that's fine. But you didn't dismiss it out of hand and just say, no, I that's not how I was raised. Oh, hell. Right? So, Jay, that was an excellent call. Thanks for that.
Yeah, thanks.
You're going to give me something more to think about as well, too.
Yeah. All right, Sharid, this is your episode. Take her over.
All right. Well, today we're going to talk about the sun. Is it a Stargate? Some say, there's some evidence saying that it's a Stargate. Ancient civilizations claim that it's a Stargate, and I'm about to show you some evidence, and you be the judge of it, okay? First of all, I want to start off by explaining my viewpoint of the sun, because my viewpoint of the sun isn't the same necessarily as what the normal theory is of, general relativity or special relativity. Right now, they think it's a nuclear reactor inside the sun. It's just nuclear fusion or whatever you want to call it. I don't know the terminology exactly, but it's super hot in the center, and then
it goes on for billions. Yeah, that goes on for billions of years, right?
Right. And then you got the surface temperature. And then you got the off of the surface, I guess you can say. And they say it's hotter than the surface, whatever. Basically, it's a bunch of bull in my eyes. I believe the sun to be an elaborate or a sophisticated light bulb, okay? I believe all the stars in our universe, or our galaxy, if you want to just say to our galaxy, they all are being powered by the center of our galaxy. Okay, so they all share the energy that goes outward. All right, and I believe our sun also powers all our planets, which I believe we have 10 as well, which I'll get into that. But one reason why I believe that is because you have these sunspots. All right, at times you have the sun's surface, and then NASA has captured photos of what they call sunspots. And I have an article here that shows black on the sun. Okay, now if the inside of the sun is molten lava or whatever, nuclear fusion and just a ball of hotness, why is it black? Why is it black? And that's what really gets me. All right, now.
Do they ever say what the temperature is in that black area?
It's super cold. Okay,
yeah, cooler than the rest
not
of the
sun. Yes, way cooler than the surface of the sun. And when you're when you have a satellite that's measuring an object this big, you're not going to get an accurate reading because you have the the sun's temperature falls off of the surface, so you're going to get some interference. But you can definitely, if you Google it, you can see that the temperature is a lot lower. Okay, and this article right here, it's one of the few articles I've found that actually talk about the Stargate sun. Now, before you go any further, stay right there. I want you to see right there at the top where the title is. It says, "Some NASA censorship involved." Now, that is, you know what I mean? A lot of people think, oh, NASA lies. They're not telling us the truth. I believe that, but not entirely. They're not telling us the whole truth. They want us to believe this one theory that Einstein, who didn't even agree with his own theory, said it's not fully developed. Please do not run with this. Even Einstein himself doesn't agree with his own theory. So you have this sun that has these spots on it. And this picture right here is actually of an equinox. Okay, I believe it is the summer equinox. Okay, and this black spot or this sunspot appears during the equinox, and this article gets into all the history on why they believe it and everything, which I'm about to get into. Go ahead.
I was going to say, what's interesting to me, just looking at this photo, is look at the straight lines and the sharp edges on that black spot. Right. That jumps right out at me initially.
You know what's funny is I believe I have a picture of it, not the exact pyramid, but one of the pyramids, the Mayan Sun Pyramid, which they have multiple. That spot right there, that has those sharp edges and that triangle shape, is actually one of the doorways or openings on one of the pyramids. And
that's crazy.
And it's called the Sun Pyramid, you know what I mean? And I don't know if you guys are too familiar with the ancient civilizations, but they all worship the sun, you know what I mean? They all have sun periods. Even if you Google sun pyramids, you're going to get multiple races or cultures that have built pyramids to represent the sun. You know what I mean? Especially in ancient Egypt, you have a lot of deities or gods or pharaohs, that have that circle above their head that represents the sun. And so you start to wonder why this big deal about the sun, you know what I mean? So I started digging, and light bulbs started to go off, and I started researching it, and I compiled a couple pictures that kind of explain this theory. Okay, a lot of things that people see on the surface are one thing, but if you look deeper, it's another thing. Okay, so I don't know if are Dan or P, are you guys familiar with the France or Australian cave paintings?
Not especially.
No.
I'll say that. I'm familiar with some.
They just look like regular hieroglyphs.
No, actually, no, not at all.
This is interesting.
Well, there's this picture I sent you. It's titled "Aliens, UFOs." It has a bunch of. This is a cave painting in France. Okay, and
that
it has
right there.
Okay, so you see,
definitely aliens.
Right, you think it's aliens, but I want you to look closer. Okay, this is not just aliens, man. No, neither. These are depicting the Stargate. Okay, another picture I sent you is called the close-up of cave paintings of wormholes.
Oh, interesting.
All right, so I want to explain this to you and the viewers that are watching this, so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, and I'll get onto the outer rim of the head here in a minute with another picture, but I want you to focus on the inside. Right now, you got two eyes and you got a nose in the middle, correct?
Yeah, looks like
All
it.
right. Well, let's focus on the nose. The nose has a circle in it. Now, not this cave painting itself, but there's multiple and there's different versions. So this is the one I could find. That is depicted as a circle. All right. It's separate from the nose. Okay. So there's a circle and then there's the lines going down and forming the nose. All right. Then you have the two eyes on the side. And looks like eyelashes, right?
Yeah, or like they're showing that there's maybe surprised or they're wide awake. I don't know.
Yeah, to me now, only because you've prepped it the way it is, those are people.
Okay, well, let's say...
I look at them as people standing...
Oh, really?
I don't know. Just only because you prepped it the way you did, am I looking at it that way now?
Well, let's say that is light.
Okay.
You see that as light rays, all right?
Light rays coming out of the eyes.
Right. Now, the nose in the middle is depicting the sun, but it's also depicting on the gravitational effect it has on space-time. It makes a hole in space-time, okay? And each eye is a sun, all right? Now, going back to what I mentioned earlier, that our sun is powered by another sun, which that sun's powered by another sun. It's a continuous energy field that is passed along in our galaxy, okay? So what that, I believe, and what others believe and have researched and posted videos and pictures of, is that these are two suns, those eyes, and it's showing you that one sun leads you to another one. Now, not in this picture, but in other pictures of these aliens, there's actually white dots in these eyes, and they represent constellations. I tried to find pictures so I could show you. You can kind of see a couple white dots in the left eye, can you not?
Yeah, a little.
Could that just be the paintbrush not filling in, though?
But you got to understand, look at the rest of the picture. Does it not look like that they didn't have time to color that little spot in?
Well, I mean, I see specks in the brown area, too.
Yeah, it could be age. No, but I see what you're getting at, though.
Right.
It doesn't seem like it's real prominent.
Right. Other cave paintings is real clear, and you can see the dots, and you can see that it's the Orion constellation. Okay, for example. But let's get off this picture here. I want to go to another one because I kind of want to get deeper into this type of alien photograph on caves. Okay. Go to the picture that is titled Spider Legs. Okay. Now, in this picture, you can see that they're a little different, but remember how I told you that I'd get to the outside of the head in a different picture? Well, what I want you to notice is that the head is only formed because of what's outside of it, all right? And what that is a picture of is a worm. All right, look at the top left of that picture, the bottom right of that head. Do you not see a worm?
So we're looking right in here. Can you see my mouse?
Yeah. Okay, yeah, right there where your mouse is.
Oh, I see the worm.
Like right here?
It curls up the left side. Yeah, it's curls up the left side of its head. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Looks like an earthworm, basically, with the segments in it.
Exactly.
I don't know about this. It seems like you're really pulling it.
No, I'm with you, Sharid. I'm still with you, bud. This is good.
Now, I understand that I'm not the best at explaining things. I already understand that. So you don't have to tell me that you might not see it.
So all these guys are wearing worms over their heads.
Right. Okay, but
It's a
now,
metaphor.
hold on. I want to prove to you that this is a freaking worm. Okay, Dan, go to the picture. Go to the picture that's titled "Wormholes Cave Paintings," and click on it.
Oh, I don't see it. Scroll down. Maybe it's the one on the left. No.
We don't have that one.
Ooh, damn.
Okay.
That's rough. That's rough. Are you sure you don't have? You
It says
have to have.
close up of cave painting wormholes. Is that the one? But that was the one we just looked at.
Yeah, we just looked at that one. That was that one.
All right. All right. Well, we'll move on for that while I email that to you. Okay. Yeah. You see
Now
how
this is
that
the
looks
one
like
I've looked at this one before.
Right. It looks like a UFO. And
And some people said that this is a representation of sombrero, and then you're hanging those balls down from the top.
Oh my god! Oh god!
Well, let me give you another idea, Dan. Let me give you another idea. That is our galaxy, and that hump in the middle is our sun. If you were looking at our galaxy from the outside of it, and you were level with the horizon of it, you would see the sun in the middle. All right. Now these dots underneath are planets. I only sent you one picture, but what I want to explain is that there's other pictures in this cave that have 6 dots, that have 8 dots, that have 10 dots. Okay. And what those dots represent is planets. That is not a UFO. That is the sun represented as the galaxy. Okay. Which goes along with the picture that states that says the spider legs, okay? Because the NASDAQ lines, you've heard of those, right?
No, I have not.
I'm sure you heard of them. It's on those mountaintops where they have those pictures you can only see from the sky.
Yeah, South America, these lines that run forever for miles in a straight line that can only be seen from the air and stuff.
Right.
Ancient civilizations built them.
Oh, okay, sure.
Right.
And-
Well, they have a spider one, and the spider has a big abdomen, and then it has 10. Well, it has 8 legs, but then one of the legs goes off and connects to 2 other things.
I think I did see that spider one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have. Well, we have 8 planets, but supposedly we have 2 other planets that orbit way out there. Okay, and all the ancients, even Queen Isis from Egypt, she wears a crown of snakes, and each snake has a circle, a sun above it, and they represent each planet, the 10 planets in our solar system. Whatever, if you believe there's 10 or 8, each one of these cave paintings that you think are aliens, all right, depict different solar systems. The one that's titled Spider Legs shows these lines coming off of the alien head, and some of them have different numbers. Some of them only have 6. Some of them only have 1. Some of them have none. You know what I mean? So if they were aliens, why wouldn't they all be the same, especially if they're depicting the same thing? Okay, now that's just the cave paintings. All right, I kind of want to get into a little bit more of how the Stargate appears, okay? Because a lot of the... Do you know what Ethiopia originally stood for?
I do not.
No.
It actually stood for faces burnt by the sun, all right? Sun people, all right? In Africa, they also say the same thing. They're the sun children, you know what I mean? And that's all over Africa. That's all over the Mayans. That's all over the Aztecs. They all worship the sun, all right? So what I want you to see is that these Stargates, well, you know what? Let's really get into it. Go to the picture that is titled Mayan Artifact. All right, you see that? All right, on the right you have the sun, and you have that triangle shape, right? That's during the summer equinox. I'm pretty sure it's either summer or winter. Now on the left side, you have a picture of the sun with that same shape, and on the right you have the Earth, and you have UFOs going into the sun or coming from the sun in this artifact.
Yeah, sure.
Now this is from the Mayans. Why would they carve in stone something coming from the sun, coming to Earth in a flying object?
No,
if there was a Stargate.
There's 3 planetary objects there, right?
Well, there's the moon, the Earth, and the sun.
And then it looks like multiple UFO type objects.
Yeah.
One in the beam coming from the sun, and then looks like one's around the Earth with the beam coming down to it, and then a big mothership or something, whatever you want to call it, there in the bottom.
Yeah.
Boy, that is interesting. There's a sine wave on the left.
There's this video where I got most of my knowledge from this. It's called The Knowledge of the Forever Time, episode 5. It explains all this way better than I can, because it's hard for me to, without someone being right next to me, showing them all the evidence. Okay. Yeah. That picture right there, I wanted you to click on next, because it explains everything. Okay. The sign, well, the Stargate. Okay. Solar flares, the outside of the sun. And it just explains it to you, basically, without any words, just showing you a picture.
Boy, that is interesting. You know, that's what trips me out a lot, is this artifact stuff that pops up and shows this sort of stuff.
See, originally I thought the one right here, the one on the left, was Earth, because I thought that was like South America.
Oh, no.
Right.
But if you look at it, you flip it upside down, and it's pretty, you know, it's interesting. It's coincidental at the very least. And if it's not a coincidence, then the ramifications are so much greater.
Well, here's something else to think on. These pyramids that they're building, I don't know if you follow it too much, but they're usually 10-step pyramids. Okay, that goes back to what I was saying with the 10 planets. We have 8 plus the 2 that orbit on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and on each one of these pyramids, there's a doorway. Okay, and each one of these doorways represents a Stargate on the sun that happens at different times. I want you to click on the Anunnaki Travel Watch up at the top. Have you ever heard of the Cardinal Star? You've heard of that, right?
Yep.
All right. It has 12 points, right?
Right.
How many constellations are there?
Oh.
12, right? There's 12. Sorry.
Well, with the like referencing the zodiac symbols.
The zodiacs.
You're
yes.
right. 12 of the zodiac. Okay. Yep.
Right. Well, this on the Anunnaki, they have these watches, and there's 12 cardinal points, and what that represented was their time to travel. Mm-hmm. Different seasons. You got the summer solstice, winter solstice, and the 4 others in between, or however many. It's divided up in a certain way. I'm sure you've heard about it. But they have these watches because certain times of the year, they're able to travel to certain points.
Yeah, why the hell is he wearing a watch, Dan?
That's a good question.
Or is it...
Unless it's like an alien tech.
It's a GPS.
Or a bauble of some sort.
GPS.
Yeah, it's GPS. It tells them when... It's a time mechanism, yes. But it's not a watch like ours, 12 hours in a day. It's depicting what season they're in,
mm-hmm.
and if they traveled through the Stargate, where they would go.
Shere.
There's a
because
time
the
frame.
Stargate itself isn't opened up all the time. It comes at certain intervals, and then they know where, if they want to travel to this area, they have to go at this time. But what's interesting is that you've got, 12 zodiac signs, 12 months to the year. You've got 12 hours in the morning, 12 hours at night, and 24 in the day. Yeah. It's interesting that 12 is such a significant number here.
Right. And also the Anunnaki wore this necklace. It was a cross. and you also see it, as a halo behind Jesus. It's, it's the cross with like the widened edges at the top. And they actually had a sundial, which I didn't send you a picture of it, and I apologize, but it's, it has coordinates on it, and it has the 12 points divided up. And if you put the cross over it, then you could twist the cross to certain points, and it's a navigation system.
Okay.
And that's how you travel the cosmos. And pyramids all around the world were used to travel these stargates as well. Not only could you fly, whatever, a spaceship or a UFO, if you had the technology to get that close to the sun and go through it, but you could go and meditate in these pyramids. And if you had the top part of the pyramid that forms the triangle, which they're all missing, then you could travel through the Stargate with that. And
that is crazy.
Yeah, mostly all the Anunnaki depictions show them in a circle, and they have stars, and it's a Stargate. Basically, that's what it says. It's a Stargate, and that they're coming out of it. And let's go to the video. Yeah.
Is this where they're taking energy from the sun? Wow,
yes.
Look at that.
I just
I've seen this before.
The quality of this. This is the first time I've seen this. This is pretty.
I've seen this before.
What's crazy about this is how can anything get that close? You know what I'm saying? So they obviously have the technology.
Depths of hell.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're pulling this energy in, and there's different theories about this too. Is that are they using this to charge their cells to travel on their own intergalactically, or maybe they're using it enough to charge their cells to then go through the sun?
And that's the only quick video I could find. When I mean quick, I mean just something I could show you guys. I was trying to find a video where you see objects coming out of the sun and going in the sun.
That's a sorry-ass looking spaceship.
Well, that's just the bottom half of it. You don't see the top half. What's the top half look like? Because you got the sun's light.
It's in the shadow of the bottom.
Exactly. There you go.
I want to speak to their designers.
Yeah,
right. Right? I agree with you. But I encourage every listener, even you guys, to watch the video. It's by Damon T. Barry. And it says Damon T. Barry Writer. That's the channel. And it says The Knowledge of the Forever Time. Episode 5. It's an hour long. And he explains everything I just tried to, but way better. You know what I mean? It's hard when you're not face to face, but he explains everything, and he even shows you more artifacts of why people worship the cow. That there's this one cave painting that the constellation Taurus on the cave painting has a doorway on its butt, and that's where you come out. But if you travel at a certain time frame, like the Anunnaki's clock, the wristwatch they had, if you travel during the Taurus one, you come out Taurus at a certain point in it. And the shape on the painting is the same shape as during the Taurus constellation season, whatever that is. The Stargate is on the sun. That exact shape that's on the cave painting is the black spot on the sun.
That's crazy, man.
It's nuts. I mean, I couldn't believe it, but it makes sense because I believe the Earth's hollow. I believe all the planets are hollow, but I also definitely know that the sun is hollow.
You don't believe it's flat?
Yeah. You're just pissed off a bunch of flat earthers there. Well, Sharid, that's crazy, and what you've done is given me a whole bunch of homework to keep digging into, and that's awesome.
Well, that's what I want. I don't want to try to convince people when I talk about these. You know what I mean? I want to give them just a little bit to pique their interest so they can go and explore on their own. Because the electric universe and everything that comes along with the ancient civilizations. God damn it.
Civilizations.
Yeah, it's hard. It's way harder for me to say it than that, Pete. But just when you look deeper into it, NASA's only showing us the surface.
Oh,
They
of
don't
course.
want us
Yeah,
to
NASA's
know.
terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I don't believe, though, that they're hiding everything. The satellites ain't real. The Earth is flat. We never go into space. It's just that space, the way we're trying to travel it now, isn't the way. We need the Stargates. Just before I forget, you know what? You know the Bermuda Triangle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is, they call it like K12 megalith. It's a block, number 12 block. They found under the ocean, all right, so many meters down, and it has writing on it. And they depicted the writing. You can Google it. Super easy. And it says, the Stargate is closed. We are sitting still. Basically, we can't do anything until the time when it's open. It says it. It says something like that. 100%. They found it in the Bermuda Triangle. It's some kind of pyramid underneath the ocean.
Okay.
And it says the Stargate is closed. We are stationary and can't do nothing until it's open. It's like, what the, you know what I mean? Like, where, you know, why would it say that? You know what I mean? But all these ancient people worship the sun. All talk about Stargates. You can find hieroglyphs. You can find cave paintings. You can find stone blocks. All of them depicting a star and then a square. Stargate. Stargate. Look into it, man. I'm telling you, it is fascinating. And
I can't wait.
I mean, that's pretty much all I have. I mean, on the subject, I would encourage everybody to watch the YouTube video, The Knowledge of the Forever Time, after you watch this one, of course. And start interest.
Good recovery.
You know what I mean? Right,
No,
right.
this is awesome. I'd never considered it, and I can't wait to do some of my own digging into this. This is great.
I guarantee you, I can put money down. Okay, I could put money down after you watch that video that I talked about, that you would be convinced that the sun is a Stargate. That's how much proof this guy shows.
Damn.
Can't wait.
Sounds worth it. All right. You want to take us out of here, Sharid?
Sure thing. Thank you guys for watching Talk is Cheap, where cheap is talk, or talk is cheap. I'm your host, Sharid Hall, and Dan and Pete gladly joined me and got to talk about an interesting subject. So you guys take care and hope to see you soon.
Right on.